Hello, children. Today I'm going to deal with the chapter Unlikely Destinations, Emperors on Ice, Class 8 English book. Okay, so destination, unlikely destination. Usually we go to places for fun or for enjoyment. And we all love to travel to different hill stations, tourist places, but that's for fun or entertainment. So, what is this unlikely destination these people wanted to visit? You just look at the heading Emperors on Ice. Emperor means king or supreme being. So, emperor penguins are those penguins found in Antarctica. They are the heaviest of all living penguins, weighing between 22 to 45 kg and about 100 centimeters in length. So these penguins, they can live in this extreme polar winter conditions where the temperature even drops to minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit. These penguins have many adaptations to protect themselves from the cold, like insulating bodies, layers of scales of feathers. Then they also huddle close together to keep themselves warm. And these penguins also have the ability to recycle their own body heat. So that is why these emperor penguins are able to survive in such cold places. Now, if you look in your textbook, there is an ad printed on a newspaper. A cutting of that ad is put on your textbook, and this gives us certain idea about the chapter. This ad is given out by Lieutenant Ernest Shackleton. He was one of the members of the Discovery Expedition between 1901 to 1904. So he and his team, they were the first ones to discover about the rookery of emperor penguins. How was that? This happened when their ship named Discovery was trapped in the ice. So what does this ad say? This ad says that he wanted people for a hazardous journey. Hazardous means dangerous journey. The wages, the money. What was that? What does it say about the money? Small wages. It's not talking about money. And then he also says that the journey was very dangerous and he needed people with courage to face the extremes of the bitter cold and the darkness. So this journey was also very dangerous, that they even doubted if they could ever return back alive. So what is an expedition? It's a journey undertaken by a group of people to a particular place with a specific purpose, especially to conduct research or to explore or find out more about something. So that is the ad in the paper. So I think the title is also very apt, because these emperor penguins are those penguins that survive all bitter conditions out there, and also are explorers. They're very brave explorers who went out in the biting cold for their purpose. Now, as I already told you, emperor penguins have layers of scales of feathers in order to protect themselves from the cold. So the explorers reached the penguin rookery. Now, what is a rookery? Rookery is the place where penguins, they mate, nest, raise their chicks, and this is at Cape Crozier. So Sherry said that he would trade 5 years of his life to sleep on a warm bed just for one night, because such was the trek they had in the freezing climate. So Edward Wilson was the person who initiated this 6-week long trip right at the peak of the polar winter. Later, this expedition was described as the most unusual, strange, unearthly expedition. This was to get the eggs of the emperor penguins. So nobody would ever undertake a journey like that ever again. So you can see in your textbook the pictures of those 3 brave explorers. Okay, then the start or beginning of the study on the eggs of these emperor penguins was during 1901. during the discovery expedition when their ship Discovery got stuck in ice. So the rookery of emperor penguins was discovered at Cape Crozier on Ross Island by a sledging party under the leadership of Lieutenant Skelton. He was a biologist. So who's a biologist? A person who's an expert who studies living organisms. So he made use of his time and studied about these astonishing birds. And he concluded his findings. He said that these emperor penguins, they lay their eggs in the middle of the Antarctic winter. And this was one of the most surprising ornithological discoveries. What is ornithological discovery relating to birds? So my first question to you, what is a penguin's rookery? Question 2, what was this surprising ornithological discovery? So he visited the rookery many times and all his observations were later published. Let's continue. Next para. So at that time in the year 1901, it was thought that the emperor penguins were the most primitive birds on planet Earth. What is primitive? The first of its origin. So it was thought that the embryos or eggs of these birds would reveal the evolutionary link between reptiles and birds. But this was incorrect. That was why the eggs of emperor penguins were craved by ornithologists. Now who's an ornithologist? One who studies about birds. So my next question to you, what was the argument? So the argument was that if the eggs of these emperor penguins were obtained, one could find out the connection between these birds and dinosaurs. Hence, obtaining the eggs of these penguins was considered as a valuable prize, and this was equal to obtaining the South Pole itself. So till today, these eggs are considered to be the most precious bird specimens on planet Earth. Now, Scott knew that the journey was very, very dangerous. Wilson also accompanied Scott. And for Wilson, this journey was very important. Why? Why for Wilson this journey was very important? Because it was a search for truth rather than worldly fame. They also thought that this winter journey would answer many questions in connection to the pole journey that they were planning to undertake. So Scott realized that the winter journey was an opportunity to study about the different sledging rations. What is sledging rations? That is the different kinds of food they could have in this extreme cold climate. Usually explorers, they take high energy foods that provide their vitamin needs. It should also be very high in calories. So their sledging rations consisted of pemmican, that is ground meat mixed with fat cheese. Then they had the stew made from pemmican, biscuits, lime juice. And the second thing was to know about the weather conditions on the Great Ice Barrier. Therefore, this winter journey became very important for these two reasons which I just explained now. So my next question to you, state the two reasons why Scott undertook this journey. Now what is this Great Barrier Ice, children? Great Barrier Ice is now called the Ross Ice Shelf, which is the world's largest body of floating ice. So now Scott, he started to plan his second expedition on the ship Terra Nova. So in order to withstand the extremes of temperature, the blizzard, huge masses of ice, and to protect his ship and to strengthen it, what did he do? From back to front, that is from bow to stern, he protected it with oak timber. Captain Scott says that his ice ship was magnificent. It bumped into the large floating areas of ice, crushing and grinding. It also avoided other floes. Terra Nova helped them to combat the great masses of ice, and he described his ship as a living thing which was fighting against the ice packs. Next para. So Wilson accompanied Captain Scott on this trip. Wilson was a zoologist. Who's a zoologist? A person who's an expert at studying? Yes, birds and animals. Oh, okay. So Wilson accompanied him on this expedition because he was really tempted to study the breeding biology or the reproduction of these birds. They also call this second expedition as a biological victory. Reaching the South Pole was not the only aim of this scientific program, but also to study about these birds, the emperor penguins. So, why did they decide to travel this 70-mile trip to Antarctica in midwinter? That is because it was already found out that these birds they lay their eggs in June. Hence, they decided to travel to Cape Crozier from Ross Island. Why Cape Crozier? Because that's the penguin colony. The penguin colony is at Cape Crozier. That is why they decided to go there. So they decided to take this 70-mile long trip during the worst possible weather. Now, due to this distance, they wanted to situate their base camp at Cape Crozier itself, so they could study the Adélie penguins also, which were found in Antarctica, and they could also observe these emperor penguins. Both these species, they would be able to study very closely. The next para. So, Terra Nova was the ship, okay, in which they traveled. It sailed towards Cape Crozier in 1711, but because of bad weather conditions, the large masses of ice along the way, which hindered their journey. So, this caused a delay in their expedition. So, due to this, the ship was ordered into McMurdo Strait. This strait is covered by McMurdo Ice Shelf. This ice shelf is the portion of the Ross Ice Shelf. Now, what is ice shelf? It is a large floating platform of ice that forms where a glacier or ice sheet flows down to a coastline and onto ocean surface. So, on Jan 4th, 1911, Scott's team arrived on Ross Island and they set up camp at Cape Evans. So, for the next 2 days, they took all their equipment and supplies to the camp. Prefabricated hut, which was made in part and could also be set up, and this was erected to serve as their home, the prefabricated hut. So many magnetic and meteorological stations were set up. Why? In order to collect and gather information. So when sunlight was there, Scott wanted to explore the region. So on April 23rd, 1911, winter started and our friends at the camp had a daily routine of taking the scientific measurements, preparing their equipment, and also exercising the dogs and their ponies which were with them. That is about Scott and Wilson. Then, now Wilson, Sherry and Bowers, they started their journey. All the three of them, they set out from Cape Evans, their base camp, to go to Cape Crozier, which is 120 miles. So, on their two sleds, they carried the food equipment, and in darkness, in the freezing weather, they started their journey. They walked very slowly in this harsh weather condition. The temperature was minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and it also fell as low as minus 77 degrees. So, due to this thick snow, which was sand-like, they would only or they could only pull one sled at a time, and then they had to hurry back to get the other. So they used the candles to navigate because of the darkness. So it was a very slow, tedious walk under extreme weather conditions. So they would fall into the cracks. Okay. So they stayed roped together. And if anyone fell into the cracks of ice, the other would haul him out. The ice was splitting and cracking like glass, and their journey was very, very tedious. The three men suffered a lot during that journey. They had frostbites, injuries to the body tissues caused by the exposure to extreme weather conditions. So usually we get frostbite on fingers, toes, nose. So their teeth were also broken. Their bones were also broken because they fell into the crevices of ice. And Sarah Wheeler, who was Sherry's biographer, she tells us that they would take 45 minutes to get into their sleeping bags to sleep for the night, because these sleeping bags were cold and they would get frozen. So now at Cape Crozier, they built a rock igloo to study these emperor penguins. They used it as their lab. This rock igloo was used as their laboratory. So at last, they were able to observe the breeding of these penguins. The emperor penguins are very difficult to find because they breed in places which are difficult to spot out, and on top of that, it's pitch dark out there. So they would reach the rookery by climbing the high walls that surrounded it, and then took the 5 eggs, but 2 were dropped accidentally by Sherry, and with the precious 3 eggs, they struggled back to the igloo. So as they were going back, they were trapped in a blizzard. Very, very difficult journey. Just imagine what all they underwent. So what happened when they trapped in that blizzard? The blizzard was very violent. The tent blew away first, and then the igloo roof also followed. So for 2 days they were bundled up in their sleeping bags. They couldn't do anything, and it was like as if they were clinging to life out there because the blizzard was so severe. No food, nothing. And they were in the blizzard, all out there. And then Boaz found their tent, and our lives had been taken away and given back to us, Sherry wrote. So he commented about the severe catastrophe they had to face, that violent blizzard. So it was as if their life was given back to them. So on August 1st, 1911, 3 of them, the trio, they staggered back to the base camp, and their faces were injured, all blistered and scarred, but they never let go of these eggs, these precious 3 eggs. So they had spent about 6 weeks in the Antarctic winter traveling from Cape Evans to Cape Crozier in order to gather the rare emperor penguin's eggs from the natural habitat. So you just imagine, even the clothes were frozen because of the cold, and it had to be cut out from their bodies. And Sherry's teeth, it chattered so violently that they broke because of the cold. You know, all of us, when we feel cold, we shiver and our teeth chatter. So what happened to Sherry's teeth? It got shattered, broken. And what happened to Wilson? He was blinded in one eye because of the extreme weather conditions. And Sherry was looking about 30 years older than what he actually was. He was very young when he set off on his journey, but now he was looking 30 years older. And he had set off his cadaverous face, scarred and corrugated. The nose was dark. Cadaverous, what's the meaning? Very pale and sick, corrugated. That means wrinkled, scarred, because they had to face a lot of dangers in the way, in the extreme weather conditions. So Sarah Wheeler, she writes it that way. His toenails were falling off, his fingers were useless. But even though they undergone such physical torture, braving the cold, their journey was successful. Why? Because they were able to get hold of the 3 emperor penguins' eggs. So Sherry, it was his responsibility to take these eggs to the Natural History Museum. And he gave it there, presented it there. So emperor penguins are very well known to science since 1840. Then the first colony was not discovered until these members of the Antarctic expedition found the birds at Cape Crozier. So Sherry handed over these embryos, these precious embryos, to the Natural History Museum there, and it literally cost the 3 men their lives and their health. That's what Sherry pens down. He writes it to the museum. And Wilson, on their return journey, Wilson and Scott, they died. Why? They froze to death, okay, on their return trip from the South Pole. And Sherry was the only person who was alive. He brought the eggs to the American Museum of Natural History. And there, a curator was literally making fun of him there. And, with a sneer and a scorn, he was putting silly questions. Who are you? And what do you want? And this is not an egg shop. Literally like making fun of him. So the eggs were kept in storage And the scientists, they were asked to study these eggs, but then it was very difficult to find the right specialist. But then the zoologist C.W. Parson, he analyzed these eggs and he concluded that they did not add to any understanding of the penguin embryology. So they could not cater much to the understanding or to know more about penguin embryology. So scientists no longer believe that the embryos of these penguins help much in studying the evolutionary history of these species. But however, Russell said that these specimens were used in a later study of emperor penguins and they were considered to be very, very useful. So the journey which these three men undertook was not a waste. So ultimately, though it did not provide the information which they hoped to get, on the other hand, these emperor penguins' eggs are still there for the scientists to study about it and to give their interpretation. So these eggs are very, very valuable. So the last paragraph of the chapter tells us that it was the worst journey in the world. And Cherry, he describes this journey as the worst journey in the world. Their ordeal, the dangers, the difficulties they had to undergo. Okay, Cherry Garrett writes in The Worst Journey in the World, one of the popular travel books, okay, ever read. And this winter journey was immortalized. And it was one of the most surprising, astonishing journeys, which was very successfully planned and executed throughout the heroic age of the Antarctic exploration. So that's it, children. Okay.